Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and today is a beautiful day here in Wales, and I thought it's a perfect morning to get some collage work done. And this is the first page of my new art journal or art book or glue book, whatever I wish to call it. Anyway, if you haven't seen the build for this, I'll try and put the links in the description box, which is down in that corner. You'll see like a V-shaped little grey V. Click on that, the description will drop down. Any links I refer to will always be in there. Thank you for joining me. So, do I have a plan? I kind of sort of do, but I kind of sort of don't. So, I've got a basket of stuff. I've gone through my supplies and pulled out, and I have this feeling I want to do something that's like nautical, sailing, that sort of feel to it. So I went through my whole collection of all my bits and pieces and pulled out stuff. So let's take a look at what I pulled out of the baskets and boxes and see what we might or might not use. So let's move that to one side. That doesn't help at all, does it, really? I have pulled this stencil out because I like it. It reminds me of fish scales, so there you go, that's there. This was a piece from a jelly print I did, and I like the colours of it, so that's another one. Oh, I should have held the stencil up against that, shouldn't I? I got some wide washi tape here that's got like drawings and plans and stuff on it. So I'm going to use that. Or all of these I'm saying we're going to use it, doesn't mean I'm actually going to use them. As those of you who may have already seen the build, I said I was going to put a strip of washi along the top of each of the pages, purely because that way then there won't be this much white space, because I don't know collage so far. So I chose grey for that. And I'm keeping this out because I might actually want to tie that into the collage itself later on when it's finished as one of the top layers. Imagery, I've just got things that I pulled out from when I've done harvesting magazines. I'm not sure that I'm going to use birds or fish. They are part of the sea, obviously. Found this nice piece that reminded me of the ocean, sailing ship or sailboat, should I say? What was that? Oh, that was a piece of artwork, but it just really appealed to me, and I like that. I found this. It was a chest of drawers in a home decor magazine, and it had a map on it. And I don't know, this may or may not enter into the collage, to be honest. That was from a workbench of a stained glass window maker. So I thought I'll have that because I like the colours in it. A bit of patina on metal. For those of you who know me, you've seen me pull this piece of knotted rope out before intending to use it, and I keep forgetting to use it, so this might be the perfect one for this. Again, more nautical sort of imagery, stuff that have got blues in it. I've pulled some music paper out. I've also got book page here, as I always have. I've snipped some little pieces like a little boat building stuff, little pictures of yachts, interiors of boats. I found this, which I thought was really quite nice, navigational compass, love that. More boat stuff, more imagery. I found these in a magazine which I really like. They're all exactly the same, except they're slightly different colour. And I thought those one might be a nice top element. One of the final things where I would normally say it was botanical, I'd put 3 butterflies in a row. You know me from the threes. I thought maybe I might want to do 3 of those in a row. I don't know. So those are in the pile as well. Now everything I'm pulling out is obviously not going to be used. Some nautical documents here, blueprints. It's obviously not going to be used. However, it gives me an option for things I can use. I particularly like this old gentleman, this old sea captain, so he's probably definitely going to be used. The last remnants of this Stamperia rice paper I had with a fish on it. Don't know whether a fish is going to feature. I found some of these blocks and blueprints and stuff, so those are okay. I found this guy in a magazine and I really liked this image. And I thought, you know what, can I bring it up closer to you? I thought he's really going to be used, so he's definitely in it as far as I'm concerned. More blueprinty stuff. Found this, quite like this. This was in a sailing magazine. You know me for harvesting magazines, so that was in there, and I like that a lot, so that's going to go in there as well. Sailboat stuff. Blueprints. I found blueprints for yachts in a yachting magazine, and I thought I really want to use those, but they're probably going to be a background. That's another sailboat. They're probably going to be a background element when I build everything in the back, because I don't want this to be really dark, because a lot of my stuff does tend to get really dark in colour. And I went, right, let's challenge ourselves. It's like, for an example, I love that bit of ocean, but that bit of ocean may just be a bit too dark for what I'm going to use. So we'll see. As I said, it'll evolve as it goes along. And then I found a couple of seabirds and in my kit. And I found a whale apparently as well. Seagulls, stuff like that. I pulled out this napkin that's got seashells on it. Don't know that it's going to work with this, but I'm going to let that be. A bit of tissue paper. What else is in here? A bit of ledger paper, just in case I want something different. I did pull this rice paper out, which I keep thinking I want to use and I never get round to. It's more boat than actually sails, but I'm not sure. And then a bit of text stuff and a bit of map stuff. So there you go. That's basically the pool of stuff I'm dipping into. So let's put it all back where I can just reach for it. There's going to be stuff all over this desk by the time I finish. I can absolutely guarantee that. Besides that, I've got some acrylics out. I've got my washi tapes, as I said. We're just going to play. And with any collage, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So before I even start to think about creating, I'm going to pull some book pages in and just give myself a little bit of a background. Let's take 3 of these. And all I've done is I've just, when I've been gutting books, I save the book pages, obviously, because I like to recycle where I can. It'd be good if I can get those apart. And I use a tear ruler on them. A tear ruler, where's my tear ruler? That's a good idea. So I use the We Are Memory Keepers tear ruler because it's the only one I've got. So I'm going to tear these to pieces. My fingers are just not gripping anything today. That's not going to be a good sign, is it? So I'm just going to tear these into different sort of shapes. Well, not different, into different sizes, should we say. Now, I'm not going to, as I have in the past, collage all the way to the edges. I'm going to collage all the way till it's very close to the edges. Part of that being I found that when I do stuff in art books, if I go all the way to the edges, I inadvertently stick them to the next page, or the paint seeps under, or the ink goes under, and if I just go to an edge, I'm quite happy with that as it is. The equipment I've got on my desk, by the way, is I've obviously got glue sticks. I've got some acrylic paints I want to use in this. It's my favourite colour, my dark turquoise and my white acrylics. I've got an old store card or an old credit card I use to smooth stuff down. I've got a sponge because I'm going to sponge for my stencil. I've got one of my old brushes, and it is an old brush, but it's my favourite for actually doing dry brushing and streaking. That'll be there. A couple of pairs of scissors and a glue book as well. Now, I know that you can see this area down here, but that doesn't necessarily, I'm always going to remember things are in shot. So, as you know by now with me, I'm videoing this through an iPad, but what you can see through the iPad isn't necessarily what the camera is catching. So I have done a test run. I do know you're in shot. It's just a case of what have I done? So what else do I want? I wanted to bring that music paper in as well, didn't I? Now, trouble is, I put, there you go, it's right in there. That's not bad. I wanted a bit of music. Don't know, music and the ocean seem to go really well with me, so I'm going to pull in some of this. Oh, this is really going to annoy me if I can't grip stuff today. There you go. Again, trouble is, I cut my fingernails. Well, I cut my fingernails about 10 minutes ago, really. And guess what? Once I've cut my fingernails, it's not very easy to grip stuff. So I'm not going to use all this music paper because I don't need to. I don't need to use that bit. That might come in later. So let's do some laying out of stuff, just really roughly, just so I can work out what my canvas, and I use the word canvas loosely. We know it's not a canvas. It's actually a paper pad of mixed media paper. So, but if I lay things out, I can get at least the start of the foundation of work down. Now, I don't care in which direction the text goes on the pieces I'm laying down. Just be aware of that. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's a collage. If you're going to try and read my collage, then you know what? I've probably done something wrong somewhere along the way. I don't like the fact that's a straight line right down the middle of that. I think I might just try and trim that off a bit. I try to avoid actual physical lines unless I intend them to be there, because what happens is it tends to cut the pieces up that I'm doing visually. It tends to put barriers in. Let's put that one across there. Do I want another? I think stick another piece of that there. I think this piece will go into the parking lot. For those of you who have not seen me before, I refer to the parking lot just as an area where I put things where I can't quite decide whether they need to go there or not. So I'm going to start gluing down, but what I want to do is anything that's going to be having an outside edge, I'm actually going to use distress ink on, only because obviously once it's all glued down, I can no longer distress it. So because I'm not going to the edge of the page that I'm working upon. So there you go. So how's everyone doing out there? It's, as I said, it's a lovely day here in Cardiff. It is a bit chilly, I will freely admit that, but you know what? It's lovely, bright and sunny, and actually in about 2 hours I've done 2 sides I need to do. One, I need to concentrate more. In about 2 hours I'm going to be doing a drive up to see the events manager of the National Trust, which is quite exciting. They want to see whether I would teach a workshop for them when events start coming back in. Well, they're hoping it's going to be late summer, so I said yes, I'd be very interested in doing that. It'd be nice to work with the National Trust. National Trust, by the way, is sort of a heritage not-for-profit organisation here in the UK, for those who may not be fully aware of what it actually is. So there it goes across the top of there, across the top of there. I don't tend to do a lot of inking in my work unless actually I'm doing junk journaling, and then because of the vintage nature of it, that's when I pretty much will grab for it. Right, time to start gluing some of these down. I know there's big old patches on this tape, on this spread, but you know that's not a problem because eventually it'll all get covered. And I don't want the whole background to be book page. So excuse my arm reaching across here. It seems weird not to go to the edge of the pages. So let's see. If you do enjoy collage, by the way, don't forget I am doing the Margaret. Oh, if I move that, I think I moved that. The Margaret Miller or Marguerite Miller Collage Challenge, the weekly collage challenge this year, in her planner. So that is another playlist here on my YouTube channel. So if you're enjoying collage or you enjoy watching people collage, please join me on that one. It'd be lovely to see you there. There's lots of us doing it around the world, so it's well worth looking into. Now, anyone who hears or sees me tearing papers off, I don't throw them away. They go into a box which is over there, and I do recycle them. I'm looking at this thinking I want it to go that way now. So I just need to put a bit of colour down there. Over to one side, I've already started trying to pull some videos together of what I do with book pages. That will actually be another playlist. Eventually there's going to be quite a lot of different playlists on my YouTube channel because I've planned to do lots and lots of different artsy different things, tutorials, product reviews. I'm starting to do quite a few product reviews, which is really nice. Not all of them are uploaded currently, but they are on the go. So know that product reviews are going to be part of my future. So if you are a company out there who wants me to product review something you've created or launched and want to use my YouTube to maybe reach more people, that's fine with me. Just let me know. You can get hold of me via private message via Facebook, or you can actually just leave a comment in the comments, and then I'll try and always answer the comments, and then that way I can get back to you with contact information. The only thing I would say, however, is I will give an honest review, and honest reviews aren't always positive. Okay, so it's the gamble you take. I'm not linked to any company that I would be reviewing products for, so I want my followers, e.g. the subscribers, to have the honest truth about something, because I find it very frustrating if you go and watch a video or a review of something and someone says, oh, this is the best thing I've ever done, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm convinced to go and buy it, and then I get it home and it's utter rubbish. And I'm like, why did I believe that? So I really want to be honest in my opinions. I want to try and review it and then try and do a project using it. This keeps moving around for me for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just hoping everything is still in focus. What I'm probably going to do at the end of this video, because it is a reasonably large spread to be filming, is I'm likely to take a pause in the video, film a little section just showing close-ups of the collage piece when it's finished, and then edit and put it into the video itself. So hopefully that will help everybody. As I said, this is the first time I'm doing a page for my new art journal stroke book stroke whatever I ended up calling it. So I'm still testing the waters as to see what works and what doesn't work. Right, I think there's one piece, that's it. I knew there was a piece somewhere, just didn't know where it was. So let's put that on. So what I normally do is I normally start off with a background. I like to use text, probably because I'm always trying to use up book pages. I like to use text, however, I will use whatever I fancy at the time. So sometimes it might be old wallpaper, sometimes it may be tissue paper, sometimes napkin. It'll be whatever I want it to be honest. Right, I think for some reason I thought I hadn't stuck that down. I was having an out-of-body experience. So I've got a feeling I've come to the end of this glue stick. I have come to the end of the glue stick. Right, end of glue stick. Right, that's the glue stick in the bin, but I do have another one. Because guess what? I've run out of glue stick before, several times. And it's funny because I always check stuff, but I can always guarantee if I'm going to run out of a glue stick, it happens the moment I start the camera. It's always the same. Right, let's put you in there. Okay, right, so that's given me, oh, I depressed now. That's given me sort of a kind of structure, and I think now what I want to do is I want to add in other elements. So I'm really looking at bringing in this washi now. It's the washi with, I always forget what the heck the name of this person was. Leonardo da Vinci, that's who it was. It's almost like Leonardo da Vinci sketches, or it would be if I could get my fingernail, which I've just cut in here. Come on, there you go. So I'm going to add a few pieces of this. Now, again, it is background, so I'm not focused on which way up things are. I'm not focused on anything except just creating a background that isn't a white background. I'm also using my glue stick on it because washi is by nature a removable tape, and I don't really want it removed. I want it to be a permanent. So let's stick that along the top of that. I absolutely love my washes, so I'm quite happy to be using washi whenever I can use washi. So let's pull that bit off there. There you go. Now I know I'm going to have certain people watching this video because they're going to watch it, so I'm going to give a few hellos before I even start, before this has even been launched, because I know it's going to happen. Darcy, hello Darcy, and yes, Biscuit my dog does say hello back to you, so I know Darcy's going to watch. She's very, very supportive. If you want to see some of Darcy's work, if you go to Misadventures in Mixed Media, I think is Darcy's YouTube channel. She does some fun stuff. Pop over and support her. It's all about supporting our artists and creators out there, and I very much want to make sure that we're all in these current times enjoying as much support as we can, because it's not only about supporting the channel, it's about battling the feeling of being alone with this virus going on. It's a case of, oh, is there only me out there? And I know that's how I feel sometimes. I mean, I do find that I tend to just be at home, and I'm like, really? Am I the only person left on the planet? Is how it feels sometimes. So, and by nature, I think artists and creators are people who don't really, well, we don't sort of go out that often. We enjoy what we do because we like the solitude we do it in sometimes. And you can agree or disagree with that, obviously. It's completely my opinion, so it is whatever it is for you. I enjoy my solitude, but I don't want to be alone, if that makes sense. So I like my solitude because it helps me focus. And having the support of you guys, knowing you're all there, really does build confidence, because being an artist and putting your work out there for the whole world to look at can be a little bit nerve-wracking at times, people. I take my hat off to people who start up a channel or do blogs or something, because you're literally putting your work out there to everybody on the planet. Right, so I've got another layer on there. Now, I did say I wanted to bring in, sorry, basket coming back in, I wanted to add in these sort of elements. Now, was there anyone else, any others in here? I had a feeling I had them a little bit out of order in here. And what I wanted, I thought the blueprints in the background might just be a nice touch. Let's just leave it like that. I think that probably is enough. Now, again, I'm not going to think too much because I'm OCD. So if I think too much, I procrastinate. I actually don't move forward. So I'm going to take these and stick them down wherever I feel that they're going to be more appropriate or fit most. Now, you will note I'm actually not distress inking the edges of the white pieces. I don't think they need it. It looks natural on book page or music page, but I think if it's white, it doesn't look right to me. It's as if a white paper had actually aged enough to have that sort of edging on it. The whole page would have gone a different colour, so I tend to not do that. Let's take that off there because that page is getting really, really sticky at the moment. So anyway, that's just my reasoning for that. So, yes, as I said, I'm driving up to Bracknell this morning, so that's about a 2.5 hour drive. It'll be a pleasant drive. It'll be, well, I'm hoping it's going to be a pleasant drive. What day is it here today? What day is it here today? It's Thursday today, so yes, right. I'm looking at this wondering whether that's too dark, but I think if I put it, that might go in the parking lot. My gut feeling is telling me no. And I think my gut feeling is telling me no there. And anyone who knows me knows I tend to work in threes, but not always. That's my get out of jail free card there. Okay, we're beginning to now build up the background stuff. I'm really looking at this thinking in the final thing that's going to be too big. So that's going to the parking lot to be looked at later. Now I'm building up the background before I come in and I put in things like acrylic paint and stenciling and stuff. The more I look at this, the more this is not going to be right for me either. Do I want a bit of map in there maybe? Well, there was another one. I'll take a look at those two in a moment. I think that's going to be another layer up. There is another one. Right, let's put those to one side. This is the one I thought I'd lost earlier, so I think I like that there. So I'm starting every sentence with the word I do apologise. So it's lack of a thoughtful mind, possibly. All of the images you're seeing me use are actually harvested, as I call it, harvesting anyway, from magazines. And what happens is I don't normally buy magazines unless I'm doing something really specific. So say I really wanted, let's see, I wanted to do a spread on, let's see, France. I would probably go and buy a couple of tourism magazines on France just so that I had something. I think that's going to be too big, parking lot time. So I've got specific imageries, but normally I get all of my imagery from magazines that friends have actually given me. All my friends, or anyone who knows me, knows that, okay, save your images for Ceri, save your magazines for Ceri, no matter what they are. I will choose from them the bits that I want, and then the rest goes into a recycling bin for me. So it's a case of any paper goes back into a recycling delivery, whatever you want to call it, pick up with my trash people, my once a week collection. So I will do my best, and I quite like using old magazines because that way I'm actually recycling my mind. Right, I'm loving this. As I said, this was a bit from a jelly printing project I did, and I've been asked whether I would actually show jelly printing on my YouTube channel, and I might do, but it seems weird that I'm not. Jelly printing is one of those processes, and for those of you who don't know, jelly printing is it's almost like a thick gelatin pad that you roller or brayer paints or inks or things onto. Then you press the paper on and you peel it off, and it lifts off layers of colour. It is really hard to explain unless you've actually seen it. I'm considering doing it, I must admit. However, I'm also considering not doing it because I'm not really sure about doing it. So watch this space on that one. If you see a shadow starting to creep in, it's because the sun has just gone past the point in which it's blocked by another building. So hopefully it's not going to be too distracting. I mean, I hadn't thought about that when I started filming. I just wanted to start filming this morning. So, right. I love this colour green, this dark turquoise. It just screams the ocean to me. So, hence why I'm using, oh, that side's better than the other side. I think I'll use that side. So there you go. Note to self, always turn things over and see what's on the other side. Something I do when I actually harvest a magazine article, I must admit, because a lot of the time I will take the image off one side of the page, turn it over and find out there was a wonderful saying or poem or article on the other side, and I can no longer retrieve it because I've already ripped it out of the magazine. So, hey ho, lesson to self. So let's put that down. Well, I do hope the sun is shining on you wherever you are. I hope in the country you are that the lockdown and virus restrictions are easing. This is the first week here in the UK where we've been allowed out, should I say. We've been, well, here in Wales, we've been in lockdown for, I will say it's 4 months solid now. So we've just come out of lockdown to the point where our shops have now just reopened. Always a positive. I'm going to put that across there, I think. And so that means you can actually purchase more than just food now. Also, the kids have gone back to school, and I have no idea how they're going to catch up on their schoolwork for exam periods, but hopefully the educational boards will take that wholly into consideration, because if they're not, they need to. So, I mean, schoolwork is hard enough as it is, without having the added pressure that your mother or father actually had to school you. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm of an age that when I look at my friends' children's homework, I have no idea what it is. I don't even know what they're talking about. So, especially things like mathematics has gone way beyond what I've ever known mathematics to be. Right, I'm looking in here for little bits to fill in with now. That's a good piece for this layer. This is a good piece for this layer. I'm wondering whether I want to do a little bit of stenciling at this point before I continue to build. See, that is a reasonably good colour, but I'm not sure whether the fish is going to work. So he's going into the parking lot before we start. I did quite like that. But let's have a think, shall we? Let's do a little bit of stenciling at this point. I think it has come time to add a little bit of stenciling here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use it in sections, and I'm using a sponge. Let's take this blue page off of there. There's an image on that one that doesn't need to be seen. So I'm going to take my acrylic paints. Now they can be any acrylic paints. Don't get married to the fact that I'm using Deco Art for this one and the other one's Galleria. They're just paints. I use liquid paints where I can, ones in bottles, but as you can see I also use tube paints. I tend to buy because of the colour, not because of the brand. And what I do is I'm going to dab the sponge in and then dab off the excess. So hopefully you'll see that in this corner. I'm not sure, so let's lay that down. I'm just going to dab off a bit of excess, and I find by doing it with a sponge, let's add a little bit of green to that, by doing it with a sponge I get very little bleed under my stencil. So, and I'm looking for subtlety here, I'm looking for a background, and you'll note I'm taking a little bit of green or a little bit of turquoise, a little bit of white. I'm working my way over it because I'm just trying to build up little bits of colour, and then the magic happens when you actually slip your fingers under and take it off. See, that's just enough to bring some colour into it. Let's come down here again. Let's put a little bit of green on here. I think stencils must be one of my favourite tools as far as working in art pieces, especially if I'm doing things like canvases or boards. I do like stencils. I do have stencils I've created myself as well, so I know I'm not always using someone else's. I think we need to put a little bit in that square there. Get rid of the excess. Now there are different ways of holding your stencils down, by the way. You could hold it down with a bit of washi tape. There are stencil sprays in that you could come in and spray the back of your stencil, and once you sprayed your back of the stencil it becomes tacky, and that means that it actually will cling to things. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just taking elements of this colour and I'm just putting into the white spaces because I don't always need to cover things up, and I want to just add little bits of this colour in other places. I'm going to be dry brushing white over the top of this as well, so that'll pick up some of the colour. Bring in little bits around the spread. Again, we are creating a background. Something I forgot to pull out too was stamps. I haven't pulled out any stamps for the back of this. I'm wondering whether I want to do some stamping at some point, but I think that's enough. Right, the joy of the sponge is done. So I'm taking a little bit more time to get to places because I'm in the middle of clearing the craft cave out because I've got workmen coming in to do a rebuild. So they're going to come in, sorry for crinkling, I need to clean this stencil off before it dries. They're going to come in, and what they're going to do is they're going to gut this room, which is an old bedroom stroke storage room for us in my house, and then it's going to be turned into my craft cave. So it means that I'm going to have a place where I can work instead of climbing over boxes and stuff, which is what I'm doing at the present. It's been a long time coming and I'm so excited to have it done. So very, very excited to have it done. Right, okay, so I've just cleaned my stencil off. Another thing I like to do with stencils is if I lay it down and roll it between two kitchen paper or kitchen towel, it dries it off quite quickly. Right, that goes over there into the stencil box. Let's clear this up so I've got paint going everywhere. So this is giving me a nice background. I like where this is going so far. I don't mind the white pieces. As I said, I'm going to end up putting stuff into it anyway. Right, now do I need to think about putting anything like stamped text into this? And I'm thinking I would like to. Question is, can I remember where the stamps are? Because I've started clearing this area out. So bear with me 1 second. I just need to get some inks and some stamps. There you go, that wasn't long. So I'm going to use Tim Holtz, those two, and I'm going to use archivals. And by archivals, I mean archival inks. So I'm going to use the black, And if I remember right, I have a green somewhere. I've got that colour as well, which funnily enough matches everything else. Right, so I thought if I put a bit of each of these on here, the thing about the colour black is it will make everything on the page pop anyway. So I'm going to put a bit of green in first, or what is this? Called Seafarer. There you go, that's convenient, isn't it? So I'm going to bring this one in. Now I'm not going to do whole strips of this, I'm just going to do sections of it. So I'm going to leave it on its backboard because I don't need to use an acrylic block then. And I come in, now I tend to put the stamp to the block to the stamp. I don't tend to do it the other way around. But then if I'm doing a smaller rubber stamp, I will use it in the other way then. So put that down, give it a few seconds just to transfer the ink. That's what I was looking for. Just something different. Now I've done the whole thing there, but I don't want to do the whole thing everywhere. So I'm just going to press off that side, press up that side, and probably have a second edition over there, and one last down there. Right, I think that's enough. Just going to stamp off the excess onto my book page just to clean off my stamp. Where have I put the envelope for this? Where have I put that? Oh, there it is. Yes, I've got to that point in my life where I can't remember what I was doing the moment I walk out of a room. So let's put that down there. Now I'm going to move away from the green because otherwise it will dominate the whole collage. And as I said, this actually needs a little drama in my eyes currently before I start working on the next layers. So this is another text one. And again, I'm putting block to stamp, not the other way around. I've been asked before now how I actually store my inks. I tend to store my inks upside down. I don't know where I got that idea from. I'm sure someone must have told me at some point in my life, but I do tend to store them upside down. I don't know whether it makes any difference, but in my mind it means that all the ink is actually settling to the top surface of the ink pad. Don't know whether that's right, don't know whether that's wrong. That's just the way Ceri Griffiths does it. So let's just put a little bit down here. I think a little bit across there, and I think that's it, because I don't want this background to get too muddy. Let's take off some excess there. There you go. Just dropped it. There you go. So that's the stamping. And now I think at this point I consider the background done. And all it is a background. Now, there are elements that will go on top of this as it comes. Oh, you really do have a shadow now, don't you? Sorry about that. It will come through. Some will move over bit by bit. So now what I want to do is I want to go in and I want to do a bit of dry brushing just to put some white into this. So I'm going to use my paint as I did before. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to put a bit of paint on and then brush most of it off. And I'm going to keep doing that, and then I'm going to brush it across, just giving myself some streaks of white. And what this is doing for me is it's muting all, sorry, voice went then, it's muting this all slightly, but the brush strokes will connect the things on the page. I'm looking at this thinking I want to add another colour to this, but I'm not 100% certain what colour I want to add. Just a little more white. Whenever you've got a dilemma like that and you're thinking, ooh, what do I need, what do I need, what do I need? Look at the elements you're going to add. So that's what I'm going to take my own lesson in a moment. I'm going to have a look and see what's going on this page, and maybe something will pop out and let me know. So, now, as I said, my aim isn't to cover up my existing page. My aim is actually just to mute everything back a bit. So where's that basket? Now I know that I'm going to put that guy on here. Where is he? Now see, there's some colour in him. This colour here It's almost a pink or an orange, and I think I could possibly pick that out. Let me have a look at the paints. So let's have a look at some of these. Nothing in there. What colour is that? Oh, that's very, very pink. Right, nothing in there. But there is stuff in here, right. I'm looking at this. Actually, I'm looking at, that's probably better. So add some of that into it. I didn't intend putting that colour in here, but you know what? What is this colour? Orange sherbet. There you go, orange sherbet. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put a little bit of this. Orange and teal may be a complete mistake, people. I do not know. I just know that it needs something. Let's take you out of the way, mate. So just bring a little bit of this in. I tend to work horizontals and verticals. I very rarely will do things on a diagonal, because I feel that if you've got something on a diagonal, it leads the eye out of the page. So, and that isn't always what we want. There you go. I do think that works. That kind of works. Right. Let's take this out of the way, or else I'm going to end up with ink over absolutely, paint over absolutely everything. Now, a trick to use if you're doing work with paints and you don't really want to stop to wash your brushes is wrap your brush in a baby wipe or a wet one, and that will just keep it moist and it will stop the paints actually drying out on the bristles. It may be something you already know, but you know what, I'm just trying to help out there. Right, so I know he's going on, and I've always had the feeling that he's going there. Well, I always thought he was going there. He might be going up there. But so let's start pulling out some of the top elements and just let the sun move over that for a bit and let it dry it off. Right, I like that element. It's going on. That's going to go on. Where's that cartoony piece I saw? Right, that's definitely going on. I quite like that because it was textural. I quite like that as well. I must remember to use the knot on this. I really, really must. So, right, I think the ocean is going to look too dark on this. I really did like that. And I'm wondering whether that might, let's pull that out, might go on there. I know Mr. Sea Captain is going on there. I've got one or two more of the schematics, so I can actually use them as an upper layer. I love the compass, that should go on it. I like the sailboat picture, and I like that one. So let's put those all by to one side, and let's have a look. Now, I'm not sure. Yes, that's dry enough. I can use that. Let's start just laying things out. So I've always thought I liked him there. This is basically part, I think this is wrong now. Looking at it like that, that feels wrong. I quite like, oh no, wait, I know what way to put it up there. I want to put that up there. I'm just literally laying stuff down, guys. I'm trying to compose, but I'm not trying to compose. If things work, they work. If they don't, they don't. I'm not going to get tied up in things. And if I cover up something that I've painted on the layer below, then so be it. I think this one's too big. Right. That's a top layer, definitely. I like the patina thing. I think he needs something lighter behind him. I wonder whether that's too wrong. That's too busy. I don't mind that. I just feel that he needs something behind him. I think that's probably what he needs behind him, which means that may be the wrong thing to put there. I think the elements I've just put down kind of work for me. think. Quite like those where they are. I'm looking at the middle thinking I need to consider the middle because I tend to forget the middle sometimes. I work around the edges and forget the middle. I'm liking this picture frame. I'm not liking this that it's got sharp edges. So I'm just going to come in and use my tear ruler just to remove those clean edges because that's not working for me. I'm much happier with that. So if I do that and then that can go under there, right. Okay. I'm going to save him because he is going on here. I'll need to take that little bit off there. That's going to annoy me if I see that. The shrub. So I know the compass is going on there. In fact, I know most of that's going on there. I've still got the sea captain to go on there as well. I think it's time to start gluing some of this down actually. So looking at it, working which of the back layers, this needs to go on first. Do I want to put a vintage photo on the side, on the edges of this? Because as I said before, I don't do it on white paper. However, this one isn't white. It has that vintagey feel to it, so it's supposed to be vintagey. Now the only trouble with doing stuff onto magazine pages is that they're slightly shiny, so it could be when I'm working on this it ends up wiping back off. So let's put that over and get a layer of glue on it. I've been asked whether you can use any other glues in collage. Yes, you can. I use Pritt stick or a glue stick and I have no problems whatsoever with that. Usually my pieces are in a book or they're framed or something along those lines. So I know that I've got no problem with them peeling off. However, if you are worried, you could use like a matte medium, you could use Mod Podge, you could use anything that's out there that is meant to be for that sort of stuff. I am liking him down there in that corner actually, so that's where he's going to go. Also, things like Tim Holtz does a collage medium as well. That's another one I use. I use that more if I'm using tissue or I'm using napkins, something along those lines. I've never had a problem using a glue stick, but I think that's because when I use a glue stick, I do put a good layer of glue onto the back of the things I'm sticking to start with. So this is slowly creeping across, isn't it? Hopefully by the time this is finished, it will reveal it for you. How interesting is that? Right, you need to go. I'm wondering whether see, I quite like that. It reminds me of a sail. So that's probably another thing I do when I do collage too is, and it's not something I really have verbalized, but I tend to have a story that's going through my mind, like this guy going out on a sailboat looking for something, or just, I don't know, there's just something about collage that lends itself to telling a story, and I like that element of it. There you go. I think my glue page is getting a bit gluey and things are beginning to stick to it. There you go. So I do want to do that, and I want to do that there. Yes, so I tend to, I like to have some sort of internal narrative about what I'm collaging. It sort of helps me make sense of what I'm putting on the page. Not that I have to qualify it to anyone. I mean, it's my art and everyone's art is their own, and you can do whatever the heck you like without having to qualify it. But for some reason, it just helps my creative process, right? That needs to be a bit bigger page than that. It helps my creative process just to have some sort of reason or storyline going on in the background. I think it's just the way I do it, to be honest. I mean, I try to use my gut to do collage, in that what I mean by that is I will use my gut instincts as to where I stick things or whether they feel right. And I think once you've done collage for a while, you will get an instinct as to if something's correct or not correct. You'll put it down, and if you're looking at it going, I'm not really sure, then it's wrong. Just go with your instincts on stuff. If it's not an instant like, then I tend to go, well, maybe if I'm thinking about this too much, I'll put it in my parking lot, and then after I've dealt with it, let's put that to one side so I don't get stuck on it. After I've dealt with other things for a little while, then I'll go back and look at it. Right, I quite like that. Feels a little large for me. I want to put that in just because I want to put that in. This is one of those elements I'm like, this is the perfect spread for it. Come on, up you come. There you go. Don't ask me why I put that there. You can ask me why I didn't do it straight, but don't ask me why I put it there. I do not know. So, do I want this anywhere? This seems very white to me, so I think that can go in the parking lot again. That feels right there. Yeah, it's funny because when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do on this collage, I was thinking more maritime sailboats and sea monsters and giant octopus and all of that, and this is what we've ended up with this. And I'm loving it, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly not what I was thinking about in the first place. Right, time to pull in the other elements now. Now I'm going to put these here so I can actually see what I'm looking at. Do I want to pull this in? I've loved this piece but never found a place to put it. The knot has to go into this collage. Seabirds don't feel right, or those don't anyway. That. Actually that, I'll put over there to be considered. That to know. I still have my little pieces and I like those, and I'm almost certain they're going to go on. Keep forgetting he's here as well. This was lovely, but I think it should have been more of a background piece and I forgot to put it in. It's another one of those. I've got the seabirds. I think the seabirds might come into this, but not the square seabirds, if that makes sense. We're past the point of using bigger pieces. That's too big. There's too many yachts on here now. I might use that because I quite like that. This would have fitted into the background, but I decided no, that can come out. I was going to use one of these blocks, but if I did it, I'd have to fussy cut around it, and I don't really feel it really belongs anyway. I do like the little boat. Oops, let's knock that over. That little yacht might go in. Those are no. Right, I didn't use any of the tissues, I didn't use any of the napkins or any of that, but that is okay with me. They were just options to start with. Right, I'm looking at this little sailboat and really loving this. Let's take the knot out of the way. Actually, that might be a good place for it there. So, oh, I forgot to put the cap on my glue stick. It started to get a bit tough. So let's put him and overlap him. That's another thing I like to do, is I like to overlap things, but only slightly. And what it does is it connects things together. Right, let's have a look at this strip, because I like this strip a lot. I don't like the fact that it's got straight edges, so let's get rid of those. And get rid of that. I don't mind that across there. Let's see if I can get that stuck down without getting stuck to the glue page. Oh, I've just ripped it, but okay, this may become a two-part piece. Maybe it was fake to be ripped. Maybe that means I have to put it somewhere else on the page. Ugh. I'm going to waste sticky now. So my fingers are really sticky now, so actually that might work just by there. Just a little connecting element. Okay, let's get a wet wipe, guys. I'll just wipe the one here because my fingers are getting so sticky. I'm stuck to absolutely everything. Right, I'm liking where I'm at the moment. I do have other things that I need to enter. I really want the knot in here somewhere, but I'm thinking the knot needs to be not near him. So too many knots in that conversation. The knot does not need to be near him because the scale throws me, but I don't mind it and I do want it in this thing. And because it's my collage, I'm going to add it. So I did like this. This actually was roofing, but to me it looks a bit like decking. And I do quite like it, but I'm not sure, so that can go to one side. The seabirds, the sea captain, and the coloured squares, I think will go in here because they're really appealing to me. I think it's probably time. Where have I put that boat? I had a sailboat here somewhere. Where have I put that to? I haven't glued it on, have I? I've lost the little dinghy. Excuse me a second. No, it didn't go under there. I had that little dinghy. I swear I cut a little boat out. Oh wait, it's upside down. That's where it is. Okay, that to me just sits lovely there, and I like the way it mirrors that. So there you go. I found a place for that just in that corner there. Right, time to consider. Let's look at the bigger of the smaller elements. So the sea compass. I think probably needs to go there. Sorry about that. I went quiet for a second. I was thinking about something, and I'll explain what I was thinking about in a minute. Let's pop that in there and just smooth it down. What I was thinking about is this looks really empty to me, but I keep avoiding putting stuff into it, and I'm not 100% certain why. And I've just looked down, and I think I quite like the fact that he could go in there. And in my quirky little imagination, what I'm thinking is this is one of his ancestors. And it was one of the reasons he started sailing. So there's me, my quirky storylines again. Where are we up to? Right, I seem to have, I haven't stuck it down yet, I know. Right, I still have the knot to go on here. See, I want to put that on. See, over here looks too busy for it. That might work. That just feels wrong. I'm trying to put this on without covering too much up. I know that that's my bad. I think what I want to do is, first of all, I always want to tear the ends of these off because I don't like the straight edges on the ends of this rope. And I really do think, there. Okay, let's put this down because I'm beginning to get to that point where I'm procrastinating and I have no idea what the time is. I'm hoping that these collage pages will be approximately an hour long because obviously I can't create at speed. I need to think about what I'm doing at least a little bit. So let's put that in there, down slightly. What is the time? Oh, we're almost at an hour now, so we're not a million miles off anyway, so I'm okay with that. So right, I was going to put in these little squares, and I'm still going to put in the little squares because I like them, and I think it's almost a sailing equivalent to a butterfly, if that makes sense. And anyone who's looked at one of my collages before knows that I tend to put groups of threes in things, and it just ties it in. I just want to pull in the colours I think that will work on this. Let's put the blue one in. there. So my aim is, as you've already found this video, is I already have a playlist for my, whatever this art book is going to be. So I'm going to, every time I do a collage page for it, I'm going to turn the camera on. Whether it's good, bad or indifferent, I will turn the camera on. If it's not a disaster, you will never see it, never knew that I did it in the first place. So, but I thought that way it gives me something to look at as well. Right, I'm looking like I want to add more of these, and I do want to add more of these. I want to add another 3, and I'm looking at these 3 colours together because I like those, and I'm going to put these 2 in the parking lot if they can get off my fingers. So I think I'm going to put them on. Debate is, where do I put them? I don't want to be too close to that. Quite like this. Maybe they don't need to be in a block of 3. Maybe they just need to be 3, if that makes sense. Maybe there's 3 on the page, but it doesn't need to be there because I'm struggling with trying to fit in a block of 3 of them. And there doesn't need to be a block of 3. That's just my mind working like that. Very hard when I do this to try and get things straight because obviously I'm looking through an iPad, so I've got an iPad right in front of my face and trying to line stuff up just doesn't always work. Right, before the seabirds come in, there was one more thing I was going to look at, and that was I was going to look at the washi I've used at the top of the page and see whether I wanted to bring that down into the design. Now, I like using washi, as you know. Let's get the edge of this one. Gluey fingers again. See, and I wouldn't mind little elements of this. Let's take that bit off because obviously I've just curled that back. I'm going to put a couple of pieces of this on there. Now, with washi, I always glue it down. And hopefully it doesn't stick to itself too badly. And I think that just gives that a reason to be there, to be honest. I did look around to see if I had any words that would fit with this, and I didn't off the top of my head find anything except for the words like sailing and yacht, and they just, I don't know why, it just didn't work for me, so I tended to steer away from those. Tie those last bits together. Oh, come on, very gluey fingers now. There you go, stick that one down. Let's turn that over because I'm about to stick birds down. They've got some fragile little feet on them. Okay, I think we're almost there. Where would I like the birds? That sort of feels funny there, but it sort of feels right as well, because he's the only one I've got that's standing. And I think you're going to go there, Mr. Seagull. Whatever. Oh, that was a bit of a bang, wasn't it? My neighbours are having some work done in their house, and I've got a feeling they just slammed a door, or the builders just slammed a door. There you go. Oh, don't rip his legs off, Griffiths. Let's just smooth you down. He doesn't look like he's standing up straight. I have a drunk seagull. There you go. Now, I think this is an albatross, and I really like the idea of him flying through there. Albatross are huge. I remember seeing one, I can't remember where I saw it on my travels, and I was absolutely shocked how large an albatross is. So I quite like him. in flight there. Now I've got this, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm at the point, do I need him actually? I don't really want to cover that up because I really like that, and I always sign my work, so I might sign that there. I'm wondering whether I'm finished. This doesn't feel right. So, but I feel I do need something down here, right? The only other options is another one of those. Where is the basket gone? Sorry, have a quick look and see if there's anything here that's absolutely crying out to be used. I do have these blocks that I was thinking about using. As I said, I didn't really want to be fussy cutting one out, but that one might need fussy cutting out and adding. Right, bear with me guys, I'm not the fastest at fussy cutting. So these little scissors are a pair of Tim Holtz scissors, by the way. I love them for fussy cutting for one of the reasons is they have serrations on the blades, so it means that they actually tend to grip the paper as you're cutting and not slide around. So always a benefit, I feel. Right, I'm not going to cut the middles of these out, I'm just going to distress ink them, I think. My fingers are so sticky. Note to self, next time bring a damp cloth with you, and then I can just wipe my fingers off as I go. There you go, that didn't take too long. Right, have I got a wet page? I've got a sticky page. Right, let's take that out of the way. Let's put you in the trash. Right, I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to colour that down a little bit. See what I mean? Just by taking it down, I'm going to put some glue on this. And I think that just needs to sit in there. Just a nautical element. That looks like it needs something too now. I keep looking at pieces and this is glaring at me. And I'm looking at that colour and thinking, if that goes in there, is that too much? And I think it is. I really need to find something, guys, and I can't find something. I did look at the schematic. That's too many sailboats. I can't put the fish on because the fish there would be no reason for the fish. I mean, I could try and tear this rice paper and actually put 3 pieces of rice paper on here, and what that would do is it would tie the elements together. So if I did that, if that was glued into there, I could put that bit over there, and if I could take this last little bit off here, sorry Mr. Fish, you didn't make the cut, and put that up there. That looks a bit contrived to me. I think that's a no from here. I think what I may have to do is, besides think outside the box a little more, I think I may have to end this video because it's going on a bit and come up with something. Actually, no, I know what I'll do. I'm going to see if I can find some rubber stamps quite quickly and stamp something in there. So where have I put the stamps is the question. Right. Sorry about this. Put that up here. I know there's numbers in this one, so I think if I can pull some numbers out, doesn't have to be any particular numbers. I'm just going to pull numbers out. I'm going to pull a block of 3 and another block of 3. And I'm going to, where's that blank ink stamp? I'm going to bring the black ink stamp out because that'll pull these together. Now what I'm going to do is make sure all of the numbers are actually the right way up. And then I'm going to turn them over and press them down and hold them as one. And then I'm going to press them into my ink pad. Now I'm not looking for a perfect impression. I'm just looking for numbers. Do you see what I mean? Just something that's just adding a little element of something to the picture. And I'm not worried that they're perfect. They don't need to be. Right, that's those three numbers done. Actually, what we could do is take one of those numbers and do them in a square. So that's another thing I like to do. So press them down and then come in. Right, that's that done. I'm still not sure, guys. I'm looking at this area thinking it really, really, really needs something. And I keep being drawn back to these. And I'm just thinking that's too much. See, the seabird is just the wrong seabird. Curious, what should we add is the question. Maybe, God, I don't normally have dilemmas like this, guys. It's just a case of I just can't work out what it is. Oh, there is another seabird. I don't mind him, actually. He's a bit close to that one, though. But would he go somewhere else on the page? Right, I'm just trying to fit things in here. Do I just need to leave that as it is the question? Do I just need it to be what it is? Let's just pull over the washi box just in case it's something that will obviously fit in. Okay, washi box. Okay. There's those numbers. Now we did have music on here, didn't we? Don't I have a music? I thought music might work. And there's blue. Right, let's do some. Oh wait, there's that as well. That's fish, but it's just two fish. How can something be two fish, for goodness sake? Right, I have to end this now. I need to get this done and get it ended because I feel it's going on too long. So I'm just going to come in, open my Prick stick up again. So I know that I'm bringing something from the background to the foreground, so which is wonderful. So I'm using the Song of the Sea, should we say, which will just go across there. I don't mind that. The drama of the music notes makes everything else pop. Right, that's that one. Now I'm looking at this blue. Now I know it's not going to be this blue when I actually stick it on because it'll be transparent, but maybe this blue will pick up this, and as it's a nautical theme, blue and white is typically the colours you find on nautical things, so let's put a little bit of blue down there. There you go, one down there. One across there, and that kind of ties all those nicely together. feel it needs blue up there, but oh, actually, if I go this way. Right, I think we're calling that done. Now, as I said, I wasn't planning on adding words to this because I couldn't find any that suited me. However, we'll take a look once I've turned the camera off. So when you see the final image, you might actually see that there are words on this. But what I do is I'm going to stop now because we're at 1 minute 15. I'm going to have a little look and then I might turn the camera back on in a few minutes just so I can explain what I put on here. So here I am back again. Obviously I've tweaked it a bit. Sorry I had to turn the camera off, but it took me a while to hunt around for things that I thought would be useful for this. And I thought it's very unfair to keep you hanging around while I'm work out what I need to do. So for the eagle-eyed of you who will note, I did find Classic Boat, which I think was the title of one of the magazines I pulled these pieces out of. I liked the word paradise besides anything else. It was blue. I added 3 postage stamps because I thought that helps fill in the little gaps and also is the same colour scheme. I also found this number as well and I put that in. There's one other thing. And I found this bird, a place to live, and that was there. So that's it finished. I'm calling it quits. I like what I've done. It's not a normal for me, so I think the next one I'm going to have to revert to things like flowers and butterflies and that just to get my head back around this one. So hopefully you enjoyed that. It's about 1 hour and 15 long. I think this video I'm going to try and edit it down to about an hour, but we'll see how that goes. These are my social media links. I would love you to like me, follow me, share me, subscribe to me, favourite me, or whatever you want to do. It will be lovely to have you along on the journey that I'm going with my art, creations and life. So that's that. And this is me. I'm Ceri the Crafter, Ceri the Crafter. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye now.